Yeah, let's keep with the Ukraine theme because I have a couple of articles on the corruption, some exclusive articles, two of them.
Yep.
So let's start with the most recent one that I just put up regarding a witness that if he is coming forward, if he's, testifying, this will break the Democrats' case, defense of Biden, and expose the Burisma corruption, including John Kerry and
Yep.
Nancy Pelosi's
So
kid.
inviting Andrew Durkash to Joe Biden's impeachment hearings could break the Democrats' entire defense and prove Biden's corruption in Burisma. This guy, right?
Yep.
This is about I'm trying to look here. Right, about the Biden's main corruption scheme related to the activities of the Burisma holdings. So gas production plays an important role in the Ukrainian energy sector, which we all know his son became a very important person in that natural resource department. So, a little quid pro quo to the big man there, right? Wasn't that the talks? So
5 million, I think.
Biden then went, and the person investigating that connection ended up not investigating that connection, right? Due to their request.
Right.
So
they're not really, they're like investigating, but not really. Yeah.
Right. A bribe of $6 million for closing the criminal case against the owner of Burisma, where Hunter Biden worked for 5 years. Yeah, big guy.
50,000.
Yeah, 6 million. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Of course, Rudolph Giuliani here in Kiev connected to a lot of this as well. So, in case people were wondering if this was,
he was trying to expose it. So his connection is he was trying to expose it, and then so the deep state went after him, and they completely eviscerated him and his reputation. And then, of course, threatened him with prison, and now he's facing all kinds of
well, I think
legal.
Isn't he connected to the Maidan stuff as well? I'm not sure about that. I'll have to look into it.
No, sure. No. He was
one of them.
Exposed it. He was trying to expose it, and he's been, every time he's had the proof to show it and had the whatever, he's just been gone after. So that's why he's getting buried under the sand. Yeah. So it's pretty awful. Like the way they've been going after witnesses, investigators. I mean, so it's just, it is what it is. So go to the conclusion of the article, which I thought was really interesting, because the conclusion was really interesting. You want to read that out?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Should be at the bottom, right? So
yes.
Analyzing the activities of Andriy Durkash, becomes clear that he was not concerned about Joe Biden personally, but about what Biden, his team, and the puppet government they put in place are doing in Ukraine. That is why it's so important to listen to him during the impeachment hearings of Joe Biden. It is Durkash's testimony about Burisma's activities and Biden's business schemes in Ukraine, beginning with his time as vice president in Obama's administration, that will be the deciding factor against Biden's chances for a second term. Right. This is, they're trying to get him before running, essentially.
Right. Go to the next article, because they're tandem. They're in tandem.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and
same
subject matter.
I'm looking for it. I had it up. It's this one from 21st Century Wire.
Patrick Henry, he's so brilliant. Everyone should follow his TNT show. He's amazing. His analytical skills are great. Anyway, go on.
He writes, despite the constant deflections being employed by the Democratic Party and its affiliate media, the scale and scope of the Biden family corruption scandal is still growing by the day. From a purely political standpoint, the story has the ability to impact the current 2024 election and could disable President Joe Biden's re-election campaign, not to mention a severe blow to the Democratic establishment, too. More crucially, it will impact the wider deep state, starting with the FBI, the Justice Department, the IRS, and key U.S. diplomatic missions abroad, all of which are directly involved in this scandal and hiding evidence and slowing down any investigations into the current president and his son over the last 5 years.
And
They speak on Ukraine's corruption.
Is the thing about this, Reef, is that so many people are involved trying to cover their own asses, that a lot of the cover up isn't necessarily just to protect Biden. It's to protect their own interests from getting legally called out, to being legally exposed. I mean, some of these people are bureaucrats that basically take kickbacks and do these corruption schemes. And that whole gravy train would end with this exposure, right?
Yep.
Because let's, Ukraine's not the only money laundering corrupt country that the US and its, some of its bureaucrats are dipping their dirty little fingers in. So, this is a symptom of a deeper illness, actually, in the corruption of the US. But go on.
Well, I'll read the conclusion here. There we go, and make sure it's big enough for people to read. Analyzing the activities of Andriy Derkach, becomes clear that he was not concerned about Joe Biden personally, but what Biden, the admin, and their proxy puppet government in Ukraine had put in place, which was undermining the sovereignty and independence of the Ukrainian state. So, who is he? Andriy Derkach, I hope I'm saying that right. A suspected Kremlin agent spreading disinformation, or a man who used his experience and connections with top journalists, law enforcers, intelligence officers, and bravely challenged and exposed how Washington's vaunted liberal establishment was mired in corruption overseas. Where is he now? This valuable witness and the man who began to expose the Biden's family international network of corruption. We can only wonder if he is watching the development of the situation around the Burisma case. While we do not have answers to these questions, it would certainly be very interesting to hear his opinion. This is a corruption scandal that stretches all the way to the very pinnacle of political power in Washington, D.C. and beyond. Many believe the story has been successfully buried by the mainstream media and the political establishment. In reality, it's only just beginning. So,
and that's a powerful, and because then it leads us to the one that we did before. But let's check to see if there's any comments or questions about this article, because that was interesting. I think there's going to be
only on if you know any good local vodkas. I'm sure there are plenty.
I do. Later. God, I love people ready to drink at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like there, but Dan told me this is medicine, so
that's what every good Irish person should think, especially the alcoholic ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the whole Burisma story is,
it's been just swept under the carpet. Effectively, they were able to get the mainstream media to not talk about it. And then in that article, by the way, if people want to click on it, they talk about Matt Taibbi's revelations about how they got the media to sweep it under the carpet, because there was mechanisms used to suppress all of this information, all of this corruption, using think tanks, using the media to basically cover up for the DOJ and FBI, and then weaponize it towards other people. So Matt Taibbi did really good work exposing that. And he also got visited by the IRS because he because he did expose it.
Who now can carry firearms, so that's useful.
And I mean, and then when people said it, they're like, "Oh, well, only sometimes." It's like, what does that mean?
When does he When is the only sometimes?
Yeah, because I got to notice that well, it's just an administrative thing. But like, what if I was living in where I used to live, and then knock, and I'm like, do I ask, "Hey, are you packing, or are you just going to talk to me about paperwork?"
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's scary shit. But welcome to.
It brings that death and taxes a little closer together, right? Like, yeah.
Really? Don't want to so let's bring the video or the photo. I guess it's just a photo of Lurch. I have renamed Anthony Blinken Lurch. Lurch.
Yes.
I put it on. Yes. So Lurch was behind Biden when Biden gave some remarks. I think there's like a quick, like, and it just shows you, it illustrates you how lapdogs the Western media is, because just watch
hoping to
what they do.
find the video of that, which ironically took me a while to find any of, because any of those, they just like, please let them go away. Like, please, I know we look dumb and stupid, but
they look. And then on the other side of him was our friend John Kirby, who looked petrified at everything Biden was saying. And then at one point you see him, you can mouth read him. He says, "We need to end this." Like,
right, this guy, you're talking about, where he's just hiding back here in the background.
Yeah,
which is just
Anthony Blinken never saw a war he didn't like.
Yeah,